Would you rather have a 1-2 punch of Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts or Juan Soto and Aaron Judge?
That is a great question. And it's probably one that, if you asked 100 people, you got a chance for 100 people to be right.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment.
All right, I am pumped to be joined as I am every single week by the Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. John, how are we doing this week?
We're doing great. We're 1 year older, but we're doing great.
We are 1 year older. Well, you just turned recently birthday. What day was it?
Yeah, the 15th. I made it to the ketchup bottle, Heinz 57. I'm now 57 years old. So good things at 57, I anticipate.
You know what they say about 57 is that's the year that we keep it together on 18 and don't let Marty Fish beat us.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we already buried some of those other bad habits.
John, let's start this week with Paul Skenes. Made his debut a few days ago. Looked absolutely electric. I know you don't look at the box score at the end of the game and say, was he really that dominant? But, relievers cashed in his runs. He was throwing 102. He was electric. So my question for you is, what were your takeaways from his first start in the majors? And what kind of expectations do you have for him the rest of the year?
Yeah, the biggest thing is now he gets to learn on the job. We talked about, I thought he could learn on the job earlier than he did, but he made his debut. His fastball is hard to hit. He's got a funky arm angle. His slider could get upgraded because that's the pitch that once he gets it turned in the corner and doesn't get on the side of the ball, he's going to be tough. And look, they were drafting him number one for a reason. And I feel like this year is a very important year for him. He's not a high school guy. He's a college guy. He should be able to withstand some of those things that you need to do to go through a year. And I think for me, I think sky's the limit if he stays healthy. I love the action on his pitches.
If you're the Pirates with a an older school mindset in terms of how to go about your business with pitchers and their workload and things like that, if you're the Pirates, how do you go about handling his workload? Do you put him on a pitch count, an innings count? Do you just let him go? I mean, there was a game he threw 130 pitches at LSU, a complete game, and his last pitch was 101 miles an hour. How would you handle his workload?
Yeah, the biggest thing when you talk about those kind of things is there's not one easy answer, but if he's breezing and he looks good and he's repeating his mechanics, I don't think you could set a limit on it. I think you look as the year goes on. If they're not competing at the end of the year, it's a different story. But I'm a big believer that you use this year as an opportunity to learn as much as you can as a pitcher. Because if Pittsburgh Pirates don't have playoffs in mind in the next 3 years, what are we doing? Right? You draft in a guy to be at the front end of your rotation when you get in the postseason to be a wipeout starter. Now they got to put themselves in that position. So this year is a good test drive. And I would keep my eyes on his mechanics and the stress load of what he's trying to do. But we know, look, 101, 102, 103 is not normal. So there's no way to bandage that. You just got to make sure he repeats his mechanics and is in the best spot to be competing day in and day out.
So that's for you the key, because you see out there a guy comes up throwing 101, and unfortunately, you get a bunch of people saying, well, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time until he gets hurt or his elbow blows out. And those sort of comments piss me off, but I understand where the people are coming from, especially in this day and age where guys are getting Tommy John all the time. So for you, the key for Paul Skenes is repeating your mechanics and making your mechanics as clean as they possibly can be.
Yeah, because they're his own mechanics. Short of them being really bad, which I don't see that, you don't make major wholesale changes. You just try to get him in a position. Look at any sport, funky golf swing. You repeat it over and over again, you're going to have the opportunity to be successful. Yeah. It's the same thing with pitching. And I think for me, I get away from, look, yes, we have evidence of everybody being injured in this game, but you cannot approach this like they approached it the last 7 years. You can't baby everybody. You can't handicap everybody by taking away their innings. You've got to let each individual be its own story. And I'm never a fan of a 115 pitch limit or a 160 inning limit. You don't know. It's not universal. And let this guy become the guy that you drafted without running him out there, obviously 9 innings every single time. So if he pitches a 9-inning game, I'll be shocked this year, but it's not out of the possibility.
Yeah. Another big move over the last week or so, Padres acquiring Luis Arráez, who we've both talked about and big fans of his, and just does things differently than most hitters in this day and age in baseball. We saw them win a big series over the Dodgers this past weekend. So with that acquisition, with the Padres getting Luis Arráez, do you think they have enough firepower to win the division, to get to the playoffs? Where do you stand on the Padres now?
Well, they've got to be a little bit more consistent. They win a big series, they lose a couple games. They lose games they're not supposed to lose. That's the ebb and flow of a season. I think their lineup is very interesting and well constructed, but they've got some guys in their lineup not living up to that potential. And when they have the potential offensively to be as good as most, yes, I would agree. They're a playoff team. This move makes an absolute over-the-top difference. They play in a really good ballpark where they're going to be having great weather every day. And so the hitting atmosphere should be great. They play in a league where they go to Colorado. Obviously, that's different. Arizona is a hitter's ballpark. So they've got to make the most of their opportunities. And this day and age in baseball, look, there's no guarantees. There's no team you're supposed to beat every single time. But there are teams you're supposed to be taking series from in your division and winning those games. And they've showed some inconsistency for that. They got to get more consistent.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's talk about the biggest two moves that I think we saw all offseason. Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto getting traded to the Yankees. This is a tough one for you, John. We've seen both of these guys in MVP type form. So the question for you is, would you rather have a 1-2 punch of Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts or Juan Soto and Aaron Judge?
That is a great question. And it's probably one that, if you asked 100 people, you got a chance for 100 people to be right. But it's the toughest one to get the majority on. The only reason I'm going to go with the Dodgers is because they have shown their ability to stay healthier, even though only one plays a position in Betts, right? Yeah. So Ohtani, obviously, it's a no-brainer if he's pitching. Yeah. It really is. But just from the hitting standpoint, Ohtani has a chance to stay healthier. He doesn't play a position for the most part. He's DHing. Betts has been unbelievable. The reason I give him the edge is because Judge hasn't been able to stay healthy enough yet. If you could guarantee me they were both and all four going to be healthy, man, it's almost a dead tie because of the park that Judge plays in. Monster, he should crush it. And because of the park that Soto plays in. They're going to have 81 more chances at their park, friendlier for hitting than the Dodgers do in their own ballpark, even though Ohtani makes anything look really small.
How cool is it what Mookie's doing this year, playing? I mean, he's a Gold Glove right fielder, goes to play second base. Now his team needs him to step up and ask him if he wants to play shortstop. And we're talking about an all-time great in the game, an MVP, a future Hall of Famer, most likely. And now all of a sudden he's playing shortstop at the big leagues. I mean, how impressive is that?
Well, what I love about it more than anything, I give the organization a ton of credit. Most organizations would refrain from doing this because of injury or lack of production. And not only has it not been a lack of production, he has been unbelievable. And so they've given him, he's a tremendous athlete, and they've given him the freedom to do some of these things. He's got to be able to want to do it. So I give them a lot of credit for not crawling in a box and going, oh, if we do this, what if this happens? If you have a mindset of what if, usually things don't work out. And look, what he's doing is nothing short of miraculous, because I don't think the two are even close together. Right field and shortstop are not even close. You could maybe see some middle infield changing, like a second baseman going to short, shortstop going to short, but to go from outfield to a premier shortstop position, Fernando Tatis probably has done that on the opposite way and probably not had as great a results as obviously Betts is having.
Yeah. John, I appreciate it, man. Always a lot of fun catching up every week. Happy belated birthday, and we'll talk again next week.
Look forward to it.
All right. See you, John. All right. Just wanted to thank John Smoltz again for joining me as he does every single week here on Flippin Bats. One of my favorite episodes throughout the week is being able to catch up with him. And today being able to talk about Paul Skenes. And I really do agree. I think over the past, I don't know, it feels like a decade at this point, all these pitchers and these injuries that come up. But at the end of the day, is it working? I mean, we're seeing more and more and more Tommy Johns and every pitcher seemingly at some point in their career at least getting one. So it's not working. You know, the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, it is broke. So why don't we just go back to the way of allowing pitchers to learn on the job and continue to throw more and more and allow their arm to build up that tolerance. I'm not saying, like he said, not saying throw 9 innings every time out, but let's take the training wheels off and let the guy do what he's been doing for years, which is pitch and pitch at a very high level. So enjoyed talking to him about that and everything else today. I hope you all did as well. Make sure you subscribe, follow. It really helps wherever you're listening. Hit that follow, subscribe button. Also, you can watch everything. You can watch every episode on Spotify. You can watch on our YouTube channel, Flippin Bats Pod, and follow us on social media and TikTok. We're getting closer and closer to 100,000 followers, and we put some really cool stuff out there. So thank you all for listening. Thanks again to John Smoltz, as he does every single week, joining us here. And until Monday, my friends, have a great rest of your weekend. And remember, find your bat and flip it.